Hi Ateez Society, welcome back to the Anti-Social Planet, and today we are checking out Wooyoung's Artist of the Month. And I'm pretty scared of this one because I've seen a few Artist of the Months and they have a certain vibe, and I don't trust Wooyoung to go in a different direction. He'll probably go in a different direction. He'll probably surprise me, but I think that the overall vibe is going to be within like a certain pocket, and it just makes me very nervous for my safety. It'll be fine. It'll be totally fine. Do I know the song? No. I don't think I do. Maybe I will once I start listening to it. Look, we're gonna be so honest with ourselves. Am I gonna hear any of the song? Unlikely. I have a feeling my brain will be on something else once we get into this video. Let's just jump in. Okay, no, just one second. Just 1 second before we get to like performance things. Cool, cool. I don't know how to tell you this, Wooyoung, but vests for suits, like you have full three-piece suit, there's supposed to be a button up under it. That's one of the crucial layers of the outfit. Anything else is a decision. Anyway, proceed. I like the fact there to switch to color. I don't want to be another him. That shit is okay, I know we're here for like performance. One good transition to the different scene so that the chair isn't there anymore. Just quick science. No, that's fine, that's fine. I'm gonna let him perform now. I don't want to be another him. That shit is over. Finally you found good little jump back. Boy. Ever since the start I saw the end. Around the corner, 'cause okay, no, I was gonna let him perform. I was gonna perform a little bit. First off, I love these little jumps that we're doing. The little like tap that we had with the foot, the jump backwards into formation, and then even the like little click, like heel click on the side. Love the little playful moves being mixed into this. I forgot that we were dealing with Demon Line. I knew like subconsciously, I think I had just boxed it up for the sake of my own like sanity, that I was like, we can't know that going in, or I just won't do it. It's like telling me that the water is freezing cold. I'm not gonna jump in. So I think I had boxed it up a little bit. I need him to not do the cute smiles and then switch back into demon mode. I need him to not play with my emotions like that. He's got some good silhouettes. We can talk about some dancing things. We'll get there. I don't want to be another him. I like the hit on that percussion. Finally you found yourself a friend. Little Nod is a good little character moment. Ever since the start I saw the end. Around the corner, 'cause I know you so well. Sir, do not come hither me. And also good character moments in here, like little moments where he knows the camera is going to be zoomed in on him and he's leaning into the facial expressions. As much as it like comes from me as a fan, as a performer, I appreciate it. Ever since the start I saw the end. Around the corner, 'cause a little smooth hand move from the dancers too. So predictable, you're an animal. Ooh. Whoa, okay, wait, I like the like animal with the like rigid hand movements, but also the way that he moved with the whole group with the dancers was really good, like leading that movement. Sir, what do we say with the come hither? As a fun little step forward. Okay, sir. Unnecessary. Good little walk forward, and he has a little chest pop to go with it. It's like a little detail to make those steps hit more. Whoa. Sir, stop with the smirks. Sir. Sir? Okay, first off, so many things. I want to let it go a little bit, okay? I don't want to stop at like every single thing before we go back and deconstruct some of it. Love, again, how we're getting a little bit of those like pops in some of the movements, and they just hit on some of that percussion that's coming through really heavy with this song. I think that's a good way of having some of that character in there. But again, great character all around. Like we had like the facial expression there, the little puffing out the cheeks at the end there, whew, right? A near miss almost thing, right? Going with some of the lyrics of "you're so good at being bad," right? So this idea of knowing that you're taking like a risk or like a little bit of a adrenaline junkie kind of feeling, right? Knowing that you're doing something that is probably not good for you. So I like putting in that little bit of character. I like the almost the like wrist movements, almost like when you put like perfume or cologne on. Rigid hand movements, kind of this like flick movement that he put into some of it is also really fun. Love these really big step outs we're also getting in the choreography. It's having these really nice silhouettes, especially with this setup with Studio Choom, where there's no set design here, right? It's just an open dance stage and then like the colored lights in the background that you can play around with. They've been doing some of that, but if you're going to have this zoom out where you're just focusing on the choreography, you have to sell some of that, right? So I like that we're getting these really like big step outs so that the silhouettes are really strong for this chorus, especially since it's a little bit off kilter with this like glitchy like post on the vocals, right? So there's not a lot of the storytelling that you can lean into that. So it has to be focused on the actual like movement that's happening. Like that's turn with the like leg out too. I love the like whip movement with that leg too. See, like that's a really big movement, that like little movement with the hip and the leg with that rotation on it. It's a really like big body movement, right? You're bringing in the arms a little bit because he has that break point at the elbows. So it's not like a really rigid full extension of his arms, but it fits with the kind of rotation of it. But it's still like a much bigger silhouette than some of the other like more closer in, like even that like thumbs down, right? That's really close up in his face, and we're getting that zoom in with the camera, but we're having it pulled out. I like that we're getting that a little bit of a grungy move too on that like rotation we're getting. I like the hat that we're getting incorporated into, the ghost hat. His facial expression sells it too. I like that little move. Yeah, the like perfume. Yep, pull it in. Whoa, sir. Okay, so many things character-wise, but I love that we're pulling it in. Like I was saying, huge movements, right? Much wider stances for a bunch of the choreography, and then bring it in for this moment. We're quieting some of the music down, but it's also contrasting. We have the like snap movement, a little bit of like a shrug. There's a little activation in his shoulders, but he's keeping his stance, like his legs are pulled together, his arms are closer to his body before we get this pass off into him doing his solo. And we have like even a interaction with one of the dancers on that like music cue to separate out like into the next phase of the performance. I like that to the point. On your worst behavior, I want it just like that. Unnecessary to smirk at me, sir. Ooh, good light cue. Ooh. Sir. Oh, I'm sorry. We'll come back to that. Like the music cue of getting the spotlight on him with the silhouette in the back, actually like the shadow here. That was good. I had other thoughts and they were just like thrown from my brain because I was already like, that's a lot with the like the grabbing of the neck is already a lot for this close up. And then he like licked his lips or his teeth or whatever. It was unnecessary. I feel like that was not something we needed to be doing. I think I was going to talk about the little isolation like activation from different parts of his like hip and like shoulder, elbow movements in that little sequence there. I don't know. It was thrown from my brain. I can see the way you look at me waiting to attack. Yeah, the like knee. Just like that. Ready for this. Unnecessary. Like the dancers coming in though. Ooh, wait, that little slow down of the step forward and that like stutter where it like stops We got a hard stop there, but there isn't like a bunch of recoil. So it's like sometimes you'll get some of the recoil in their dance moves where you get the like, bah, right? There's a little bit of a jitter to the movement. Whereas there it's like full stop. And that has something, that robotic feeling to it, which we have some of that with this like post on the vocal, right? And like the stutter in that vocal, it's specifically supposed to sound like very electronic. So I like that we're bringing some of that in with that like slow step forward with almost this start and stop jitter to it, but it's drawn out. So it's not like something that's really jittery or ticking or anything like that. Really smooth, getting some of those isolations in there. Disrespectful, this whole little section. I'm gonna live and say that's probably like the most viewed. Yeah, I know what y'all are like. He knew exactly what he was doing with that sequence, and you know what, it worked. So who am I to judge? This clean transition into the new scene though. I like that level change. Unnecessary, sir. You're so good at being bad. Like the character is a lot. Whoa, sir. Hold up. Okay, no, just like 2 seconds for me to process the fact that we had to lift, right? Really quick to get into that formation. But then we threw him and he spun, and then y'all just let him drop into a hero stance. I understand that someone like watching this as just like a average person is like, man, that's a cool move. That's like a show-stopping move, okay? I need you to understand the logistics of what just is going on. And I know there's a behind the scenes for this, but just as a performer, lifts already, everyone's nervous because things can go wrong with lifts. I think we all understand that there's like some logistics to that. The insurance people start to get nervous. So they lifted him. He's laying down on his stomach. You just have to trust the dancers for that. And the timing of knowing how much they have to like throw him up and help him with the rotation so that he can end up laying on his back. But it has to be like far enough in the air that he can get that spin, but not far enough that you lose control of it, because you can't have the weight hit too much, right? Like the more you have to fall, the more speed you're going to have, the more impact it's going to have. And you can't have that throw off the balance of the formation, and you can't lose control of that whole movement. And then he has to turn back so that he can land here. I just would like to process that better, and I don't think I can. Yeah, like I'm sorry, I'm deconstructing this. I'm gonna be here for a second. He kind of like leans forward into it. You still have to like trust though. Like, that's wild. And you're like having a lot of people around you is stabilizing it, right? Like we have people on the front, we have actual people holding the weight, but then we also have two dancers like on the sides. Now, part of that is like formation of just like all of the dancers, but part of that is also like stability, right? Not only can these two people on the side make sure that he's stable, right? Wooyoung in the center, but they can also stabilize the people on the edges who are like actually holding his weight. And then you have two people at the front who can make sure that he doesn't like tip forward. Because you have to think of that too. Not only is he like spinning with that turn, but he's like specifically hanging his head over the arms. So his head is not stabilized by anyone's like arm or hand or whatever, which means that like inevitably he's putting his arms out, which means that he's gonna be like shifting his weight forward. I feel like do people understand? Because this isn't the most watched part of this performance, and I just need people to understand what just happened, and I can't even understand what just happened. I'm gonna be here forever. Like that's how much air does he get? You have to get like at least some of it. Science on a whole different level. They stabilize him a little bit. You can see that there's arms that are still guiding that movement. So that makes a little bit more sense. They're not like fully throwing him. Okay, so we're getting like a lift And then we have the arms that are still like keeping contact with him, which means that they're stabilizing him. They're also lifting his weight with like their forearm as opposed to like fully throwing him. And you can see that we have an arm here that's helping to like, turn him to make sure that he makes that full rotation. But you have to hide it, right? Like it's the dancer behind him, the two on the sides, and then the one that's over here stabilizing him with like his back arm so that it sells better from the front, and it's like fast enough that you can sell it. Like we have the slower movement when he like leans forward into them like carrying him, right, where he's laying on his stomach. That's slower to go with the music cue, but it also is showing you some of the like illusion, right? It's almost if you have like a magic trick, right? You have to show some of the like illusion of like how does it work before you trick someone's brain a little bit. So they're not entirely throwing him, but they're making it look that way, and that's wild. That's a wild trick to pull off. Like, I knew he was good, but like, shout out to all the dancers too. See, and then they have to throw him again. They have to get him to spin again so that he can land. That's way more free fall. Like that, no one is holding him right now. What are you, Wooyoung? Like that, when do they let go of him? They let go of him like here, and he finishes the rotation and lands. No, I don't have anything to say to that. I don't have anything useful. That's wild. And then he just dances again. Unnecessary. I like that transition with them walking in front of him though. They'll like lean. I like those little hits on the percussion. Boy, unnecessary. Why do we have to? I'm already in shock. The jacket was not necessary. For real though, what are you? Like, just, okay, love that we got a jump in there, love that we got like a bunch of these like hard stops and like big movements. Again, there's so much like empty space in that like chorus that you have to play around with it, but you can't like add in stuff that doesn't make sense. So you have to let those big movements happen and elongate them. Some of having that like full extension is that you can take more time to transition from one move to the next, which fits with the music, right? Like at the end where he had the like pulling it into like his like chest movement there with the like pop that was happening. Character was so good. The facial expressions and leaning into the character bad. We got the leather jacket and like the hats that are happening, but also some of this kind of like cheekiness, flirtatiousness, and like knowing that you're leaning into something that you shouldn't, right? Going along with the lyrics of the song, but also just knowing that the camera is going to be like zooming in on him, so leaning into some of those character moments is not just uncontained energy. Like he seems very deliberate about when he's leaning into those character moments and when he's not. We have the pulled out shots and he's fitting in with the dancers. Yes, we're still getting some facial expressions, but it's not to the same extent of that kind of laid back, confident, almost like cheeky facial expressions that we're getting when we get a zoom in on him. Like he knows when he's supposed to be playing up for the camera more and when he's supposed to be leaning more into the spectacle of having dancers with him, right? Like the full formation there. What was that lift? What was that? I understand how they did it. I went frame by frame. I can understand the logistics on a surface level. How did he convince anyone to let him do that? Could I have gone away with that? And I was like I was not anywhere near worth as much as Wooyoung was, even back when this came out. Significantly less invested in me. And I don't think I could have gotten away with doing something like that. I don't know if I would have done it. I did do some stage fighting, so I guess I did on occasion do things that I shouldn't have. I did once do a lift that was actually like by my neck. It wasn't actually, but I was supposed to be held up as if I was being held up by my neck, which was a whole logistical thing. But like, this is the most I might get injured that I have done in a performance. That was wild. Like, again, I can see how they're supporting him. I can see how they, like, put that together, and it makes me interested to see some of the behind the scenes of, like, how exactly they went about planning that, how much that was planned and how much of that was just, like, the formation, because I assume that a lot of thought into that moment specifically, because it's, like, a show-stopping moment, but also, like, you have to do it safely. I can't believe they just let him free fall at the end. That's the part that gets me. Like, he wasn't even, like, fully done the rotation to land on his feet, and they just let him go and moved out of the way. Like, I understand you have to, like, the timing of that, you have to not be in the way. That's the safest way to do it. But dang, wow. No, I'm gonna have to sit with that for a moment. Several. Yeah, no, that's, Look, I knew he was a good performer. I did. I knew he was good. He could dance. He has the facial expressions, demon line. Like, I understood, like, logistically that he was very good. And to get an artist of the month, you gotta show up, right, for that kind of performance. The whole point is for it to be like a bit of a spectacle. I was not ready to be flabbergasted. I think that's the thing. I was like, at some point he's gonna surprise me, but I wasn't ready for the sheer amount of bewilderment that I have as just like as someone who used to perform. And I understand that this is filmed and there's definitely a cut in parts of this, right? So I don't know how much of that is like working around all of that. Like, obviously it's different if you're performing for like filming something and you can film it multiple times and you can cut together takes and all of that. That's like a different beast than doing it like live on a stage in front of a bunch of people. So you can lean into some of those like show-stopping movements because you can reset for the next thing and pick the best parts to edit all together. But oh my god, I think that I have a newfound level of respect and like a little bit of terror for Wooyoung as a performer. You know what I mean? It makes me like more apprehensive to watch stuff that's just focused on him, because I'm like, what do you mean that's something he's just like, yeah, I'm gonna do that? What do you mean? I'm gonna have to sit with that for a while. I don't think I have anything useful to say except just like rambling of, do you know how good that is? And you probably do. Like, anyone who's watched this video all the way through, you probably do. Wow. I hope you enjoyed watching that along with me. You can click this playlist to go to my previous reactions, or you can subscribe to miss next time I post an ateez reaction. I will see you in the next video. Bye.